joining us now is Elizabeth Dickes, and she is the owner of Old Otter Antiques, and she's here with help for us today when we go antiquing. How are you, Elizabeth?
Good, you?
I'm doing all right. It's great to meet you. It's great to see you, and I'm so excited to learn a little bit more about what I should be looking for when I'm out checking out some of these antiques. So you love antiquing.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And you're from Rochester?
Yes.
And what is Old Otter Antiques? Are you a storefront, or do you just collect a bunch of antiques and then sell them?
Right now, currently, I do not have a storefront, so I buy and I sell, especially at like events like Gold Rush days during the summer.
You look forward to that, I'm sure.
Oh yes, definitely.
And do you go to other shows throughout the region?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Schedule's been a bit busy, so.
Sure. So this is a side hobby?
Yes.
That you do? Okay. Why did you decide antiquing is for you?
You learn a lot about different antiques, especially when it comes to like Fiesta ware and Red Wing pottery. You learn some different things about them, and like, for example, some of them are like radioactive.
Okay, so let's get into it. You brought some items here today to help us out if we're out looking for different things. So what items over here? Some pottery.
Yes. So what I have right here is going to be, I believe this is the fluted reed pattern for Red Wing pottery. This is going to be vintage. As you can see, it has this orange paint on it, which actually contains up to 14% uranium.
Okay. Does that mean the paint's older?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. They used paint like that up through like the 1970s.
Okay. And is there anything wrong with that?
So the U.S., like the EPA, advises not to be eating or using it for like drinks and such, but it is perfectly safe for display. But if you're going shopping, looking to add to like a collection like this color, you're gonna look for this bright orange color. And then, for example, this plate right here, it has some chips and scratches on it. We want to avoid that. So that means that the paint has chipped off, and you don't want to be breathing in that dust at all.
Okay. So when you're looking for pottery, for instance, say your Red Wing pottery, are you looking to resell it down the road, way down the road, or do you just display it in a china cabinet at your house? How does it work for you?
I display it in a china cabinet at my house, yep.
So you have a lot of antiques in your home, I assume?
Yes.
What else do you have for us here today?
Okay, so I also have a clock right here. It's from West Clocks.
Okay.
A lot of us would have grandparents probably with these older clocks.
Sure.
And it is painted with radium paint.
Okay.
So it's luminous paint.
And how do you know that? When you're looking around, you're like, oh, there might be radium in that paint.
So what I do is I check with like a black light, a UV light.
Okay.
So.
And I can just buy this at Walmart or somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what you do is you just shine it onto the clock like that, and it'll glow in the dark like that.
Oh.
So the radium actually eats away at the paint, so it ends up that it doesn't glow in the dark on its own. You need to use like a UV light for it.
And what issues do we run into with radium being in the paint?
It emits radon gas.
Okay.
And for storing these ones, you want to just make sure it's in a well-ventilated area.
Okay. Good tip there.
Yep.
And why did you buy this clock? Why did it speak to you?
It's a lovely piece of history, actually, like relating to the radium girls of the 1920s.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Where did you get it? Do you remember?
I got this one in an antique store up in St. Paul.
And I imagine when you find something like this for you, it's like that, the really exciting feeling, finding something that's special to you. How do you learn the history behind it? Do you speak with people at the store, or do you do your own research?
It's mostly doing like my own research on the side.
Okay, very interesting. Next up, what do we have to show?
Okay. So this is going to be a piece of uranium glass, or green depression glass.
Okay.
And the best way to identify this one in an antique store is going to be with a UV light again, which
what are we doing?
Show it glowing.
The glow, okay.
Yeah, that glow right there.
Oh, you can see it, yes.
And just like the Fiesta ware, do not recommend using these for food or drink, but instead for display.
Okay. Anything more you want to mention over here?
Yes, actually. If you're looking for luminous dials, you want to be careful that this face right here is still attached. You don't want to be breathing in any of the paint, and it's something that you do not want to handle the paint with your bare hands.
Okay, and this is really important when you are in some of these antique shops, because you never know what you're going to run across.
Yes.
Okay, so good tip there. Anything more?
Not on these, but then we got this guy right here.
This guy, I don't even know what this is. You have to explain it to me, because this is one of your favorite finds.
Oh, yes, definitely. So this is going to be iridium or vigator.
Okay.
Back in the 1920s, people used to fill these things up with water, and then they just let it sit overnight, and then they'd just have a spigot, and then they just drink the water the next day.
Okay.
And this is lined with radium. It does have radium on the inside. But the best way to be able to test is if you're using a Geiger counter.
Which you have right here?
Yes.
All right, show me how to do it.
Okay, so this registers, it'll just chirp a bit to let us know that this thing contains some radium in it. Yep.
Okay. And so your number that you're seeing, it says 2.13 right now. What does that mean?
That's going to be, I believe, micro sieverts.
Okay. And so do you take this with you when you're antiquing?
Yes.
And it's probably a good idea for others if you're just getting into antiquing, or maybe you like to buy antiques but you don't have all the tools you need. So what are the main tools that you bring along with you?
What I actually would almost always recommend would probably be a UV light, especially when it comes to like green depression glass and radium dials.
Okay. Anything more that you'd like our viewers at home to know?
I guess just that, antiquing is a big joy, and just make sure that you're handling these items safely.
Sure. Yeah. And as you mentioned, some for display only.
Yes.
Don't be eating off some of them. That's absolutely true. What are your biggest things that you're looking for when you're out antiquing? What items really catch your eye?
I have a thing for radioactive antiques.
Yeah, I've noticed. What's the most common antique that people are looking for, or is it really broad?
It's actually a really broad genre that people are looking for. You never know what somebody's going to be wanting to find.
Yeah. So. A fun hobby, that's for sure. That maybe someday will turn into a full-time business for you.
Hopefully.
Is that in the cards? Are you hoping for that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll stay tuned with your career journey here of antiquing, and hopefully it ends up with that storefront someday. Huh?
Yep, thank you.
Elizabeth, thanks so much for being here. We have more details on our website, ktdc.com. Where can they find you next? Gold Rush Days?
Gold Rush Days.
Okay.
You can contact info@oldotter.net.
Okay. For more tips and
for
help.
Tips or
and
identifying some antiques,
That's fun. Okay. Find you on Pawn Stars too then, huh?
Well, maybe.
More from KTDC on Midwest Access here coming up. We have a live shot coming up from the